Hey, it worked. Beautiful. All right. Well, it was about 30 minutes later than I wanted to start, but here I am, and just been playing around with some lighting and different camera angles and options. As you can see here, I always sit straight. That's all. No, just kidding. Um, so today I was trying to figure out what workout I wanted to do, and I went to the Pilates Discord and I put out some options, and I said, what should I do? Mat, reformer, Cadillac, Wunda Chair, really hoping that people were going to say not Wunda Chair. And of course, that was the first suggestion to pop up, so here I am. So we're going to work out on this bad boy today. Just kind of going through my program, my certification, but not my personal program, but the one that I got certified through. And, I was talking to my wife. You might see her come through here in a few minutes or so. But I was kind of reminded of why I originally started doing this channel. And a big part of it was because I want people to see what workouts look like in real time. You're going to see some mistakes. I'm going to go through the entire Wunda Chair repertoire that I know. My program was done in a level system, so once you hit 1 through 5 for the levels, once you hit level 5, there's really more just advanced variations on things. So I might just kind of combine once I start getting towards the end here. And so all that said, you're not going to see a perfect flow. You're not going to see perfect exercise while I do this. And I may break them down. I may not. I may just work out through them. And we'll just kind of play along with it. And that's generally how I do a real workout anyway. So come across something that doesn't feel great. Try to dive into that, why it doesn't feel good, or why it could feel better. And some days just recognizing that you don't got it, right? Your teaser's not always going to tease, if you will. So with that being said, let me get started. Start with some footwork here on the chair. Generally, though, I actually don't do the 100 when I first start on the chair. In fact, like most of my clients, I try to avoid the 100 at all costs. So, yeah, I said it because I'm honest. But I'm going to start with some footwork. We'll play with some variations. So today, let's get sidetracked easily. Like I said, I'm going to be going through the level system 1 through 5. But generally, I don't keep my notes next to me, nearby. I just kind of go through and I shouldn't say generally, but trying to put together a flow of my own in the sense of do all the exercises I know on 2 high springs, and then do 2 middle springs, or 2 low, 1 high, and just kind of break it down in that system. I know a lot of people don't necessarily enjoy doing Wunda Chair because in comparison to the reformer or even the mat, there's no set flow in classical for the Wunda Chair like there is for those 2 apparatus. So you can kind of play around with that. I do find the easiest is just finding 1 spring setting and then doing all the exercises you know on there. But today we're going to go through levels 1 through 5 and see what happens. And if I get caught on something, if I forget, you'll see me put my glasses on and then refer to the notes. But first I'm going to start off with footwork. Much like you would start footwork on the reformer, start with toes, then arches, then heels, then tendon stretch, and sit nice and tall. Well, ideally, my goal here is I inhale as I press down, exhale up, and make sure I'm not rocking back and forth. I'm sitting still in my powerhouse. 4, 5, that's what we call it your core in classical Pilates. 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to go on to arches. Here, I like to put my hands on the back of the chair, I'm not leaning on it, just pressing into the back, keeping the toes curled over. 2, 3. Also keep in mind, sometimes adjustments have to be made. Always be conscious of that when you're training your male clients. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then go with heels, hands behind your head. So I've been spending a lot more time in my own home studio trying to get things set up to film better here. So that's why I've kind of been taking absences. Why I've been absent, there we go. Still can't talk for shit, that's fine. 8, we'll say this is 9, I think, and 10. Alright, and now, instead of turning my ass to you, I'll turn the chair this way. For pull-ups, of course later when I do variations, I may not be able to do it this way because I do not want to kick the Cadillac. So, well, actually, I'm not doing pull-ups. First, I'm going to finish my footwork with tendon stretch. Really try and not let my shoulders drop back as I do this. 4. Shout out to Hannah on Discord for making me, or should I say suggesting, I do Wunda Chair. Alright, now I'm going to go right into my pull-ups. It's going to be 3 sets of 5. A little stretch in between. So the first set, just getting used to the exercise. I'm going to inhale, lift up, exhale down. Ideally, trying to keep my shoulders still. 3. There's going to be a little bit of movement in there to begin with. 4. 5. I'm kind of stretch that out a little bit. Then I'll add a little variation in the sense of this time I'm not going to let the pedal touch the floor. So I'm going to keep my heels high. Inhale, lift up. And down. And then right back up. 3. 4. And 5. Stretch that out again. And this time I'm going to take it even deeper. After I get to the top, I'm going to try to get a little bit higher and then drive my toes down as if I'm trying to leave my hips. These are hips, not heels. Leave those on the ceiling so we can get a little bit deeper in this last set. And come up a little bit more and drive the toes down. Oof. Alright, well, I'm definitely warmed up. And in the level 1 system that I learned, that's everything done too high. And if you're watching like I didn't learn that on too high, but I can't do that on too high, I'll fly off the Wunda Chair. You're also probably not 185 pounds like I am. So, the springs are adjustable for a reason. Use them, adjust them if you have to. Alright, so next we have mermaid, or if it makes you feel a little more comfortable to say so, merman. I don't really care. But, alright, so you try to come down nice controlled on this little black pad here in front. Hopefully I don't miss. A little bit. That's alright. But we're going to be working on our lat on one side and stretching the lat out on the other. Get the shoulder back and down, up and over, exhale. Exhale. So I do this in 2 breaths. I remember when I first learned this exercise, I thought it was just a stretch for this side. And once I learned how to do it correctly, I learned how much of a lat exercise it is on the arm of the pedal. And now, see if we can get up successfully. I don't even shoot for graceful anymore, I just shoot for successful. Figure if I get up without falling, oh, that's a win for everybody. And then, we don't have to call 911. Another win. Shoulder back and down. So the nice thing is I'm stretching out the side I just worked. So I have to make sure to stretch out the other side later. Number 4. And last one, number 5. And success. Oh, so close. No, oh well. It's alright, it happens. But now I am going to turn my back to this camera so I can do these next two together. I'm doing a spine stretch forward. Now, I don't want to say I see this exercise done incorrectly a lot. I will say I see people do it differently from how I do it. So if you think about in Return to Life, when Joe does spine stretch forward, he has his hands on the floor. As you exhale into the stretch, he's actually pushing down. So it's creating much more of an abdominal exercise as opposed to just stretching like we do in most mat classes at this point. So, with that being said, I try to think this is much more of a powerhouse exercise and less of a stretching exercise as we might think of spine stretch forward today. So, also, if you're just tuning in, I say so a lot. I'm sorry about that. But I would tell you I'd change, but that's a lie as well. All right, so hands are on the pedal. Again, it's going to be done in 2 breaths. And inhale, sit nice and tall. I'm going to imagine there's a string from the pedal to my belly button. I'm going to exhale, pull in. I'm going to exhale, pull in a little bit deeper, and then exhale, come back to the top. So both of those breaths are done. I'm feeling more of my powerhouse. And I'm not pressing the pedal down with my arms. It's all from here. So if you're thinking, I don't feel that when I do this exercise, it took me like 2.5 years before that connected. So keep practicing. I believe that was 5, so now we have teaser on the floor. Boop, boop. Oh yeah, I don't do a lot of graceful transitions either, so if you were hoping to look for that, sorry. All right, again, 2 breaths here. I'm gonna inhale, bring my head to my knees, exhale, go a little deeper. Inhale, pull my abs in to lean back, and exhale, pump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Again, notice I'm not pulling on this pedal, I'm pressing down. So, inhale. And let's do just one more. All right, so that was all of the level 1 system that I have. All right, now we're gonna move on to level 2, which I think is only like 1 exercise. Hold on, let me show you this. I didn't skip any of them. Oh, I did. Pumping the pedal behind the chair. Oh well, that happens. Alright. So generally I do this after I do pull-ups, but I forgot about it. So it'll actually be a really good thing to do before I go on to the level 2 exercise of tendon stretch on the Wunda Chair. So stand behind this chair right here. My toes are right up to the wood base. There we go. Pull my abs in as I wrap around, not shifting my hips back. Exhale, my hands on the pedal. And inhale, press the pedal down. Exhale, pump 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, curl up. Again, we want that coming up and down. We don't want the hips moving back and forth. So as I inhale, I press down. Exhale, pump 3 times. Now I'm actively pressing my hands into the pedal to help activate the lats to help stabilize and use my powerhouse. One more. Don't fall, don't fall. All right, there you have it. So now level 1 is done. And moving on to level 2. So I think it's only one exercise with 2 high springs. Ah, yes. Tendon stretch. Then we go down to 2 medium for the very poorly named tushy lifts. Whereas actually some people know it as the actual tabletop. We'll get to that in a minute. And then frog laying on the floor is 2 low, as well as backward arms pumping, which that all looking, the rest again is 1 high. So let's start with 2 high for tendon stretch. Right now, because I know this is going to come up later in level 5 with variations, I'm just going to do 5 tendon stretch here. Now, you can also do this a lot of different ways. Some people like to do it on their heels. That gives you a bit more of a stretch in the hamstring. Some people like to do it on their arches. It kind of feels 50% between your powerhouse and your hamstrings. If you do it on your toes, it tends to be more powerhouse than anything else. And that's what I want to aim for today. So I'm here, chin is down, and inhale, lift up, and down. 2. And I'm not trying to jump, right? We don't want to come in here. I'm just keeping my shoulders as stable as possible. Lifting my hips to the ceiling. And one more, number 5. And down. Whew. All right, so again, we're gonna come back to that exercise later. Now, some people would argue that 2 medium is the same as 1 high, 1 low. But they're not here to argue with me about that, so we're not gonna worry about that. So now comes the, I think, poorly named exercise. Tushy lift. I do prefer the actual named tabletop better. But from here, I'm gonna start with the pedal up. I'm gonna lift my hips without letting the pedal drop. And then I'm gonna pump. And ideally, I don't think it's happening right now, my hips don't go up and down, right? I think they're going up and down a little bit. 7, 8, 9, 10. That is definitely a hamstring exercise. All right, so now we go down to frog lying on the floor. And I believe, is that flying eagle that I said for 2 low as well? No, backward arm pumping. Oh, that's good. What's flying eagle then? That's 1 high. There you have it. Okay, so frog lying on the floor is a bit of a weird exercise. You probably, if you do Pilates often with a classical instructor, you probably haven't done this one because, again, that's another one of those that's it's a little weird, right? It's not weird. It's harder for people to find than most. So I'm actually gonna. Oh yeah, the microphone's right here. I can just whisper to you. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. All right, so sure people have been taught this very different ways as well. You know, some people want to just pull down with their heels, right? Which you can get a bit of a hamstring stretch. But the way I was taught is your heels are together and you want to press your knees apart. And again, like I talked about earlier with spine stretch forward, there's a string from the pedal to my abdomen, right in my belly button. So as opposed to pressing this down on my heels, I'm going to inhale and pull my knees apart. And then exhale, bring my knees back together. And that gives me a lot more work, not just in my inner thigh, but I feel this in the lower part of my powerhouse around the pelvic floor and lower abdominals, which I know I say this every time I stream, but there really isn't a lower and upper abdominals. 3, 4, there's one muscle, but get that later. 5, 6, let's do 2 more here, and 7, like a bow and arrow, right, as I pull apart. 8, number 9, and then one more, number 10. Good. All right, so that's too low, and then we have backward arm pumping, which, you know what, I know you can see it sideways over there, but just so you can kind of see from this angle a little bit better. Open this back here. All right, so I'm gonna set this pedal down and stay as tall as I can. Get in position, let this pedal come up. I'm going to inhale, press the pedal down as I get tall. And then exhale, stay tall as I let the pedal come back up. I'm trying to not let my elbows flare out as the pedal comes up, but I am not necessarily that mobile in my shoulders. 4 and 5. And then if I want to work on that mobility a little bit more, so I have my fingertips face forward, I can turn them behind me. Give me a little bit more ability to open the shoulders at the top. But as you may notice, I don't know if it is, but it feels like it's restricting my range of motion a little bit more as far as the pedal coming up. But I can feel it much more in my shoulders. And one more. Good. And the part here to be careful with is letting that come up with control. All right, so now we move down to 1 high springs. First then we have pumping the pedal 2 different ways again, I believe. Everyone's favorite, swan dive, which this isn't necessary per se to do, but for your male clients, one of the things that can sometimes be nice to do is take those anti-skid pads and create almost just a bit of a canal, if you will, to help things have more space. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So swan, I would start this, my shoulders directly above my wrists. I don't want to be too far forward. Again, I'm plugging those shoulders in. I think this is the first one we're really doing in extension. Again, plug my shoulders in by pressing my hands into the pedal. Inhale, lift my head, bring everything up, and exhale, down. Number 2. Number 3. And I'm not really going to come back to this later, so after this, I'm going to inhale for 1 full pump, and then exhale for 2. And because I'm not coming back to this later, I'm going to go and add those variations in now. So I'm going to inhale, lift the pedal. Now I'm going to exhale, lift my heels, and bend my elbows to bring my legs up. Inhale to lift the sternum. Exhale, lift the heels. Inhale for one full pump. And exhale. So now, I'm gonna add beats to those heels. And yes, my glutes are on fire. Inhale, lift. 1, 2, 5. And reset. Hello, my love.
Hello.
You gonna go pick up the kids?
I am.
Okay. I am going to keep sweating my ass off. Alright, what's next? I'm pumping the pedal in front of the chair. Frog plie, pumping the pedal on the knees. And that's going to be it for level 2. My wife is also a Pilates instructor, so if you hear her critique me in the background,
Terrible. You do a terrible job.
see? It's true love right there. Do you ever teach pressing the pedal down, kneeling on the chair?
No.
No. Most people don't. But
I'm saying it.
I'm gonna do it in a second. And if you've never done it before, highly recommend finding someone to spot you when you do it, because you're gonna see me do it very poorly. But level 2, pumping the pedal in front of the chair. And I've often felt that this is a little bit easier than pumping the pedal behind the chair, like you do in level 1. However, this does require more flexibility. Inhale and exhale. And exhale. One more. And exhale. Inhale, one full pump. The last set. And do one more here. Inhale, one full pump. Exhale for 2. I'm going to inhale, try to come all the way up again. Let my hips shifting back. And relax. I'm going to grab a towel. All right, have fun. You bring them both, right?
Yeah. In that case.
I had no idea. I always say for the record, it's chilling. Me that can't find my keys?
Oh, they're in my hand.
Oh, they're in your hand. Good
I'm
job.
not gonna tell you that.
I did not know they were there.
I got one for record.
Congratulations, I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
Bye. Alright, so here is pumping the pedal. Kneeling. I like to do this about halfway on the chair. Right? I know some people try to go all the way up. I'm not one of those people. Back here. And again, normally someone would be like holding my ankles behind me. So if I fall forward into you, I'll be ready to catch me. But ideally, whether you have someone doing this for you or helping you with this or not, I'm trying not to let those hips shift back as I round over. And honestly, that might a little bit, because this part's pretty easy. It's this part, yeah, that is really hard to do without anyone actually spotting you. And now press down. That's enough of that. Not my best, but also not my worst either, so I'll take that. But, you know, that's the way these things go sometimes. Now we're gonna hit level 3, right? And this one, well, this is probably where you're gonna see more exercises that you are somewhat familiar with. Like if you go to YouTube and you look up Joe Pilates, Wunda Chair, and there's a video of him doing that demonstration in his living room. These are some of those exercises that you're gonna see here. So we got 3 exercises on 2 high, the rest are all on 1 high. So that actually kind of makes it a lot easier to flow with this. With these 2 high exercises, a little bit of my head's gonna get cut off here, especially for you guys over there. So that's okay, right? Because what's going on with my head isn't necessarily the most important, but what's going on with my powerhouse and my body is. So, all right. I'm gonna do going up front and going up side first. And on this one, I'm definitely going to turn my back to you for the first one. Yeah, all right, here we go. So I'm gonna put foot down, press foot down, foot up here. The whole time I wanna keep this back heel nice and high. I always like to put my opposite arm forward. So whatever leg is on the pedal, that arm's forward. I'm gonna do this 5 times. I'm gonna inhale, come up. Exhale down. Number 3. Do this 5 times. Number 4. And number 5 is where we make it nice and pretty. Go all the way up. Come back to the side, to the front, and leg back through. And here I find the pedal without looking down, and then slowly lower myself back down. Now if I want to try to challenge my balance, I will not put my hands down on the chair. Woo! Made it. Barely. That's all right. 2, 3, 4, 5, and again, come up to the side. Oh shit, to the front. Yes, there's a lot of swearing. It happens. If you think that people don't swear in your Pilates studio, they're just not doing it in front of you. All right, so that's going up front. Now we're going up side. We work more of the inner thighs and all that fun stuff here. So I press the pedal down with this foot, and then the other foot on top. So now, this knee is a bit at an angle, which you can't really see. So don't worry about it. It's perfect. It's where it should be. On this one, I keep my arms out nice and wide, but the breathing is the same. I inhale up, ooh, inner thigh. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then come up, and then, I don't know, do the fucking leprechaun, I don't know. I always feel like I'm chasing kids after me, Lucky Charms, when I circle my foot like that. I'm not even that short, you know? Not that tall either, though. All right. Notice I'm not trying to like launch myself up. I'm squeezing my inner thighs together as I inhale. And 1 more. Always after me, Lucky Charms. I don't know. I think it's just some silly choreography, but I'm sure someone, after I post this on YouTube, is going to have a great remark about how it's very important about the exercise. Can't wait to hear it. All right, so that's going up front, going up side. Now we have 1 arm pull-ups and sideways pull-ups, which are really fucking hard. So I'm gonna start off with one arm pull-ups. And I'm gonna turn this around so my butt is not facing that camera. But my heels will be together, toes apart. The difference between the pull-ups I did at the beginning and the pull-ups I'm doing right now, I love the fact that I am doing it with one hand. My heels will still be together. You might hear some tears. Who knows? Let's see what happens here. But, alright. So a little bit more. Do not know if these will get all the way up off the floor. We're going to find out. Two, three, four, five. Alright, that's fucking terrible. I mean, in a good way, but. Alright, so the other arm. Two, three, four, five. Alright. So that's one arm pull-ups. Next we have sideways pull-ups, which are actually not just an amazing oblique exercise, but an insane leg exercise. So I'm actually kind of happy to have this Cadillac here, because the second part of this exercise, this leg will be off to the side. And we don't want the legs off the side going up and down with us. So I actually get to use this Cadillac as a bit of a guide. So the leg that I'm going to stick out to the side is going to go on the front of the Wunda Chair. So this back foot gets all the room at once. So just a little bit. And this front foot is going to go right on the front edge there. And this hand goes in this corner. This hand goes on this back corner. So we're going to do 3 in this position sideways. Stay nice and round. Inhale up and down. 2 and 3. Now after that, I can tell this bottom hip is ready to like kind of cramp up on me already. Now I stick this leg out. I keep it here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. And again, not easy. Fun. I'll admit that. But alright. This pedal goes down. Hands go here, front foot comes on. You 3, 1, 2, 3. Stick the leg out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh man. Now, thankfully, everything else is on one low, or I'm sorry, one high. But, as we all know, just because the spring's lighter doesn't mean the exercise is any easier, so we'll see where we're at. So now we got Barbie, horseback, mermaid again. That's the one that you'll probably recognize from Joe doing. And then jackknife, and then push down one arm. Some of these names are just super, super original, right? But push down one arm and one leg, push down front, back, side. And then we're gonna wrap it up with there because it's a lot. It's a lot of Wunda Chair for the day. But all right, so mermaid. This is the one where, again, you probably see Joe do this in black and white on YouTube. Now, as I learned this, the back hip is the leg that goes over because that's helping to keep this hip down. The same rule applies as before. This last getting the work, this last getting the stretch. But a big difference is if you see me do this, trying to keep this hip down, I'm gonna come over, wrap, inhale out, and return. If you go to YouTube and find that video of Joe doing this exercise, you'll find him going all the way over on that hip and then pulling back in and coming up. So I'm not gonna lie, I find that much harder. I'm actually not there to do that today. So I'm gonna stick with this one. One more. And now turn around. I'm gonna do this side. Over here. A little tired on the side apparently. I did not think that'd be the case. Number 2. One more. All right. And yeah, those are good. I also realized the level 2, I think I skipped frog plie. Did I? I did. All right, well, we can do that right now, actually. That's the nice thing about Wunda Chair. I don't fail it, you know? I just move on, come back to it. All right. So yeah, horseback, Barbie, jackknife. This is another one you'll see online. So everyone is very particular about this mount, which is good, right? So you have to put on your hat, wave your lasso, jump, and try not to let your butt touch. So we try that again. Put on the hat, wave the lasso. So close. That's okay. All right, so I'm here, and your butt has to come out eventually anyway. So hands here. I'm gonna extend my legs, squeeze them, and if I do this correctly, you should see a little bit of light right underneath my crotch, which you should not be staring at. So you use your judgment there. All right, arms are out. I come up, I keep the C curve, and I wrap around, and then inhale, press down. Exhale, pump 3 times. 2, 3. Number 2. 2, 3, and then come up, and up, and then down. It's always a tough one. All right. So, we have a jackknife, and then I'll do one leg pressing the pedal down. And actually, I'll do both of those this way. I actually find jackknife on the Wunda Chair pretty fun, a little more challenging. So you remember to help keep your hips up. And we'll also see if I have enough room here, because again, I'm really tall. Yeah, you know what? We'll make it work. And Okay, so sometimes when you work out at home, you gotta work with what you got. All right, feet together. So I'm gonna come over. This helps train proprioception. At least that's what they told me. I'm gonna bring the legs up and over to the top of the chair. Then I'm gonna come back slowly. Then I'm gonna try and find my way between the top of the chair and the pedal. Now, as you see, that helps get my hips higher. And then I come out, nice and high. And I try to roll down one vertebra at a time without pulling too hard on the chair and having it slip like it just did. Number 2, come up and over. This time I'm gonna go in between the pedal and the chair and come out and then go to the top of the chair and then lift there because last time I got that backwards. One more, number 3. In and out to the top and then up. And as you can see, as my feet go to the top of the chair, that's when my hips get even higher than they do here. And back to the top. And once you get it right, it feels good. But that's the whole point of why I started doing this to begin with. Like I said at the beginning, mistakes are going to happen. Sometimes you're going to get things backwards. Oh well, no one died. We're fine. All right. So now, this is pumping the pedal with one foot, front, side, and I'm back. All right. So I'm going to do this leg first. So my back will be doing second. This one generally stand like 1 Jeremy foot or 1.5 Jeremy feet away because when I put my foot on this pedal, I just want the heel on the bar. Right? I'm not trying to go all the way forward. I don't want my toes with a bar to my foot on there. So for me, let's see, I think it's 1 and a half. Yeah. All right. Arms out. Abs are in and up, or scooped if you prefer, or engaged, or whatever the fuck you want to say. That's staying nice and tall. And again, I'm doing this without looking down. And inhale, press down and up. And yes, I'm pressing down with this leg, but I'm feeling a lot of work and stretch in my left hip. 4 and 5. Now I'm just going to turn this bottom foot. I turn my head. I'm going to turn my foot to match. Staying tall. I'm going to press and up. 2, 3. Really trying to not rock back and forth. I think I am a little bit. That's okay. 4 and 5. Again, I'm going to turn my head, find a spot, turn the body, and now, yes, my big toe is down on the pedal as well. So I'm here, and I'm going to pull this hip down to press the pedal down. I'm not just pressing down the leg. So rotate and lengthen, stay tall, it comes up. 3, 4, and 5, and carefully bring the pedal up, come through, and ta-da! All right, I'm going to do the other side. So again, 1.5. That's not a technical measurement, by the way. That's just one I found works best for me and typically my clients. So, comes out here. Left leg up. Stay tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn my head, find a spot. Turn my foot. And that wasn't the most pretty, but you know what? That's not my brand. Woo! But mistakes are. So, you know, there you have it. Number 2. Yeah. 3, 4, and 5. And turn my foot, turn my head. And there we go. 1. Now I know my inner thigh is tight. I'm feeling a little extra pull on my knee. So if you try this at home on your own, you feel that. Maybe don't keep your big toe on the pedal. 4, or stop doing the exercise altogether. 5, and up. All right. So this next one is the originally named one arm pressing the pedal down. You'll notice, if you go to your mat work, this is going to be a lot like saw. This is going to be a lot like spine twist, right? Because in this one our feet are together. But this is also the exercise where I really started to see the crossover between physical culture going on in the early 1900s and Joe Apply's creating his system of contrology. So this exercise, oddly enough, means a lot to me for a very silly reason, and I'll show you why. But anyway, so the one arm pressing the pedal, pumping or pressing. Let's check this out. Push down one arm. Ah, so close. All right, so I'm gonna line my heels up, right, to match right where the end of the Wunda Chair is. And I'm gonna one arm press this pedal down. I'm gonna be in this direction. If you're familiar with breakdancing from the 80s, it looks very much like the robot. All right. But I'm gonna bring this arm up behind me and bring this hand down to the pedal. So here's my start position. Now this is an oblique exercise, and it's also, you'll feel this in your QL, your quadratus laborum. So I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna rotate, I'm gonna look towards this back hand, and then untwist to bring the pedal back up. So I'm not pressing this pedal down with my arm. I'm keeping the legs straight. This is an oblique exercise and quadratus exercise. So I'm going up, getting this hand nice and high, and then coming back up. 3, 4, and 5. Now, I'm just going to turn this around and do 5 on the other side. Here. Just so you can kind of see what it looks like looking over the chair. But, I go here, same spot, all right? Bring this hand down, bring this arm up. Get position, rotate, and then try to keep that arm nice and high. So I'm twist, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, now just one arm, push down one arm. Now, as I said earlier, this is where I started to see where the influence of physical culture and bodybuilding, the beginning of bodybuilding, may have started to play much more of a role in Joe's life, especially considering his dad was a gymnast. They were members of the Peruvian clubs. They worked out. There are pictures of his dad with those big globe barbells. So you know he was involved in the gym a whole lot. So that exercise, push down one arm, is very similar to Sigmund Klein's exercise number 6, because unfortunately he didn't name his exercises. But it's exercise number 6 in his book, Super Physique. Well, of course, now I'm going to have to go find it. Hold on, let's hold that thought. I was right. Super Physique by Sigmund Klein. A beautiful man right there. Exercise number 6. Very similar also to saw and spine twist and push down one arm. This is an oblique exercise. It is a quadratus labrum exercise. QL, if you will. Very similar. It sounds wide here. The difference is this is weight. This is only 8 pounds. Right? This is going to be a lot. I'm going to bring this arm up. And I'm going to look at this weight while I bring this hand down to the outside of my foot. 2, 3, Jesus Christ. 4, and 5. Oh my Lord. And again, this is only 8 pounds, but that is a lot of work. Got all of that in here, and now you can feel it on the other side. But again, the key to not losing your balance is looking at the weight. 3, 4, and obviously this is more of a shoulder exercise on the arm holding the weight as well. 5. And there you have it. So, all right, well, we're not quite at an hour. A little more, a little less, I have no idea. But either way, that's enough for today. That was a lot. Well, if you're following along and having fun with that, I hope that you were able to do some of these exercises. If not, if you have any questions at any point, feel free to reach out to me here on Twitch or any other social media platform you like to do, and I will answer any questions that you might have. So yeah, now I'm going to go stop sweating, get ready to train a client, and go on about my day. Thanks for working out with me, and I will hopefully see you guys, oh gosh, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. All right, enjoy your day. Bye.